Hi, my name is Mr. Abby, and I'd like to introduce you to Victor Gruen's Fort Worth Civic Center. The Fort Worth Civic Center was a building originally planned to be built in downtown Fort Worth, Texas, designed by architect Victor Gruen and his associates. In the early 1950s, the city of Fort Worth asked of local architects to come up with a plan to help the city survive and flourish into what they believed was going to be the grueling and overpopulated 1970s. They asked specifically for architects to address three potential problems: preventing Fort Worth from strangling in traffic, assuring the city's continued growth and prosperity, and making Fort Worth more competitive among cities in the Southwest, even those with as high of a stature as Dallas. Gruen designed this center in 1954, thinking that it was a surefire solution to improve the city and push it to its fullest potential and seamlessly into the upcoming decades. His plans included having pedestrian-only areas, encompassing most of downtown, where people could travel by foot or in shuttles powered by batteries, with underground tunnels and terminals for freight delivery, and a looped highway that was connected to 6 parking garages that served the downtown area, no more than 2.5 minutes walking from the center of town, to accompany them. But unfortunately, even though such a plan was sustainable and environmentally friendly, due to his impractical negligence of the costs on local government and Americans' love and necessity for cars, his plans were never able to take form and the building was never built. And on top of this, he proposed that many of the downtown's historic buildings, as well as entire residential neighborhoods surrounding downtown, would have needed to be been torn down in order for Gruen's plan to come to life, making it furthermore unrealistic. Yet, Gruen's overall goal in the project lived on, as he had set out to redesign the entire city of Fort Worth, which he continued to do, making master plans for the city's center. And this supposed civic center would have made a great addition and gathering place in his mind to the ever-growing city at the time. Gruen's master plan included a less congested Fort Worth, with drivers and parking spots being allowed only in specific areas, allowing more space for pedestrians and physical communal commonplaces. And to create such spaces and facilitate the city's inhabitants to interact with one another, he designed new shopping and commercial centers, like the Civic Center, essentially taking an ordinary suburb like Fort Worth and creating a new, complex system and venue for societal life out of it. I tend to agree with Gruen's idea of the necessity of such a space in a community, as does Roger Scruton in his Most Architects Should Be Modest on architecture and aesthetic judgment, mentioning how American suburbs are the death of architecture, as they offer no collective dwelling or meeting place. This dwelling that he mentions gives an inhabitant a sense of home and place in the community, in my eyes, and thus is essential in every community, be it a big city or a suburb. And Victor Gruen's architectural virtues seem to be highly rooted in such ideas. He himself stated that he aimed to create urban spaces with life and variety, as well as prosperity, stability, and beauty, by taking a street grid and converting it into a lively and interesting sequence of interconnected squares and malls. Thus, his ideas would have turned congested and unlivable city centers into places where inhabitants of the area would want to be and would enjoy spending their time. Something that has become increasingly important over the decades, and a notion Gruen could be deemed ahead of his time for. For even though now a downtown that follows such guidelines may seem second nature to Americans, in the 1950s when suburbs dominated the national landscape, such an idea would have been preposterous and futuristic, making Victor Gruen a significantly influential architect in modern American history.
That's the one thing she